Welcome to Retro Scale Modelling. This is part 2 of Italeri Messerschmitt Bf110 G4. Scale is 172. So in this part I'm going to be carrying on with the assembly, working on the wings and putting everything together. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. So starting off painting the inside of the landing gear bay, and I'm using Humbrol's 240 RLM02 Grey for this. And this is the colour we using for the inside of the aircraft, so the flaps and the undercarriage doors are getting painted in the same colour. So while that's drying, I'm jumping over to the canopy, and I'm using for this Humbrol 242 Dark Slate Grey. And like with most of my canopies, I'm just freehand painting this. There's quite enough definition on the lines to do this, but of course you can mask it if you feel more comfortable. Then it's back to the landing gear compartment, and it's time to paint in some of the highlighted areas, so the raised areas, as I should say. And for that I'm using Humbrol's 33 matte black conjunction with the Humbrol 11 silver. Again, you're not really going to see much this unless you turn the aircraft upside down, I suppose. But for display purposes, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. But it's mostly the pipe work that I'm painting in here. A little contrast colour does help the part stand out some more. There's a couple of pilot holes to drill in the undercarriage of the wing. And once that's done, I can then assemble the undercarriage compartments. And these are just slotting in the inside of the wing area. The rear tail is a simple construction. The connection points for these are nice and easy. They just push on. There was no need to modify. And once I've done that, time to place on the bottom part of the wings. Now these didn't fit very well at all. It took a lot of work to get them in position. One of the weapons just fell off there. I'll reattach it, although as I said I do take it off eventually as well. They should sit fairly flush with where the wing root would normally go, but because the shape of the wing, it doesn't quite sit flush, which is rather annoying. However, that did lead to another problem as well. When it was put on the top part of the wing and married it up to the wing root, everything looked fine. But then I noticed that the actual wings, the tips of the wings themselves started to warp. They are completely out. So if you can see the flare up there, once I tried to join these two parts together, they kept on stepping out. And it was nothing to do with the clamps or anything like that. The actual plastic had warped. So it took a lot of realigning and a lot of clamps to get it in its proper position. The rear tail, that went on rather well. It just slotted into its bracket easily enough. It's time to make up the landing gear. There's a small bracket that goes on the strut before the wheel goes on. I'll just point out now, these struts are far too thin to do the job. Mine's broke once I put the weight on the wheel. So if you're having the landing gear down, just be very careful of that. The air intakes insides are made up with a little bit of photo etch, so I'm just bending them into shape. Now when I assembled this, I realised one, the instructions had the parts the wrong way around. So I had to figure that one out. And two, once these parts in, you don't see them, there's no point of them. So I placed the photo etch parts in, and I noticed there was a problem. First of all, I thought it was me. I thought I painted the wrong side, but I hadn't. I painted the proper side, the side where it's all the markings on it. But when you place it in, it doesn't fit until you switch it around, and then it fits. So the photo etch is printed wrong, and the instructions are printed wrong. The props are painted in Humbrol 33 matte black. So I've gone back to the wings and I've had to reclamp them yet again, and just pointing out here where the warping happens. So I've had to put them on under a G clamp, which is quite a heavy clamp for this aircraft, but needs must. So as you can see there, it's well, you probably can't see it now because I've corrected the problem, but it took a lot of time and alignment to get these wings straight. So if you look there, all the different clamps and methods I'm using just to get these wings into realignment. At this point, I'm very disappointed in the kit. So it's back to the landing gear, and I'm just going to be placing the strut inside the wheel. This is where I'm starting to suspect that this strut is not going to be able to do its job. And the thin plastic is right at the bottom where it connects the L part of the strut that goes into the wheel. It's extremely thin. Then it was time to put in the wheels inside the bay. Now, this was easy enough. There was just a couple of little parts to it. Put the main piston strut in first before you put in the wheel. That way, once the wheel goes in, you can then just push the main piston onto the wheel strut to marry up. Next to go in are the air intakes. They butt up against the undercarriage compartment. Next to go in are the undercarriage covers. These fit in quite nicely. There's a little the little brackets that it sits into line up quite well. Next are these little, I think they're bombs, or they might be extra fuel things. I'm not sure, but the main part, the halves, two halves fit together. They're okay. You may need to trim them and shape them a little bit. However, when I was fitting the struts to it together, I noticed one of the struts had actually broken, so I'm going to have to make up another one. So to do this, I'm just going to stretch out some sprue first of all. And this is simply done just by heating up a bit of scrap sprue and pulling it until I get to roughly the same thickness as the strut for the part. Then I'll take that stretch sprue and measure up against the parts that I do have, and then just cut the lengths out, getting ready to make the new part. I will then simply cement the little parts together in the same shape as the struts. Now, I just used, as I said, the part that aren't broken as a template. And once it was done and dry, it was a simple case of then placing it onto the main part. There is little location points for it to sit in. If something like this does happen, don't wait until it's completely dry, because you may have to move it into position. So it's better if it's still got a little bit of give in it. Then once they're on, it's just a simple case of pushing them onto the wing, and these are the pilot holes I drilled earlier on. So this will end part 2. If you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel and subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't done so. And if you do, hit the notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date not only with this build but all my other future builds as well, of course. Hit the like button, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.